Welcome to this episode of our special series, 7 Minutes with Vivek Sood, Supreme Court Senior Advocate and country's top legal mind, the man who coined the expression, fundamental right to internet. Today we'll understand from him the live telecast of court proceedings, whether it is good or bad, what exactly should we understand from it. Welcome to the show, sir. So straight to the first question, there is much talk of, Supreme Court proceedings being telecast live. What are your views on this? First, what are the pros that we can understand of this?
In fact, not only the Supreme Court, even several high courts have started live streaming of court proceedings. For example, the Gujarat High Court, Odisha High Court, several high courts have started this initiative of live streaming of court proceedings. The pros. The pros are transparency, openness. Court proceedings are public proceedings. Any member of the public can go and sit in the court and observe the court proceedings. So if these are public proceedings, if people can go and visit the court and sit and observe the court proceedings, why can't the same be done on an electronic platform? See, we are moving towards a digital society of information technology. For everything, you use the internet. Internet is a way of life. That's why I coined the expression, the fundamental right to internet. So, live streaming of court proceedings brings in transparency, openness, and then people have the right to express their opinions on the court proceedings. So I would call it democratization of court proceedings. Why should court proceedings be restricted to few who can physically come to the court? Secondly, the convenience to the litigants. If I am a litigant and I am sitting in a remote place in Uttar Pradesh or Madhya Pradesh and my matter is being listed in the Supreme Court, I have a right to observe what happens in my case, what transpires in my case. So it is also a check on the legal community. What is my lawyer doing in the court? How well did he argue in the court? So it also brings in, accountability of the legal community. So these are some of the pros of live streaming of court proceedings.
And if we look at the other side, the cons, how would you look at that?
Okay, every coin has two sides, the heads and the tail. Now the cons, some of the problems which I can foresee. I have legal experience of now 3 decades. There may be unnecessary trolling of judges, unnecessary observations, and unnecessary criticism. And people may pick and choose one line here and one line there, or one frame here and one frame there. And they can troll and they can harass the judiciary. As it is, Ajay, this has become a problem, a sort of a problem. Although I am pro social media, but as we all know, judges are sometimes subjected to unnecessary and very harsh criticism. Unparliamentary language is used against honorable judges. So that may increase. That is the risk. That is the downside of live streaming of court proceedings. Now the question is, are we a mature enough democracy at this point of time to bring in live streaming of court proceedings? See, this is only the starting point. What will happen, if some people, if a disgruntled litigant who has lost in the court in a battle, what happens when he makes allegations against the judges that my lawyer was not fully heard and, favoritism was shown to the other side, or bail was granted in that case, why not in my case? unnecessary comparisons. So therefore, in the existing system, what happens in the court are public proceedings. You may physically visit the court, observe the proceedings. Ultimately, you have a judgment. Now, the judgment can be subjected to appreciation or criticism. But what is being argued? Why did he argue this? Why didn't he argue that? Unnecessary comparisons between cases, unnecessary harassment of judges may take place in the process. Now, this is a risk that is there, a grave risk, and that may affect, the judges and how the proceedings are carried on in the court. So these are some of the cons which I can foresee.
Right, sir. Right. Now, as a senior Supreme Court advocate, how do you look at this whole thing from both sides? What are your views looking at this particular thing that is going to happen, that is being debated right now? It has already started. We have already given a start to it. But now, if it works out formally.
Okay. In my opinion, I think the cons are more than the pros. The risks are grave. They are graver than the positives. The negatives are more than the positives. As far as I can foresee, you will find unnecessary criticism and unnecessary harassment of judges in the times to come because of this live streaming of court proceedings. Now, this has just begun. The moment, with time, with the passage of time, as this percolates into the society, as more and more people get to know that this is happening, so that will be the time when this will be tested. I feel this is an idea for the future. This idea may be relevant after, say, 10 years or 15 years or 20 years. We as we are a mature democracy. There's no doubt. We are the largest democracy. But then, we need to be more mature in assimilating these court proceedings and not subjecting judges to harassment and to, unnecessary allegations. So, in my view, the cons are more than the pros at this point of time. So, the tails wins. Between heads and tails wins, in my view.
Right, right, sir. Now, one question that comes to my mind in terms of privacy, individual privacy. Several times, people, even if they are fighting cases, they go to the court, but still don't want their matter to be, even though it's a public sort of a stuff, they don't want their matter to be too much public. They are ready to accept. And that is why there is this concept of in-camera proceedings several times. But now we are moving away from in-camera proceedings to on-camera proceedings. How do you see these two assimilated? How does that privacy part comes in? And how does individual feel that even though their matters are, when they go to the court, are public, they still don't want it to be too much public?
Privacy will be compromised. Suppose a litigant is engaged in a matrimonial dispute or in a criminal case. Now, I, as a litigant, don't want the world to know what is happening, what are the facts, what are the allegations. I have a right to be forgotten. Why should the world know? So these live streaming of proceedings will have to be highly regulated. In my view, since this experiment is there, it is happening now. It is unstoppable. So therefore, it needs to be carefully structured, carefully regulated. In my view, every litigant must be given the choice. He must be given the discretion whether to agree for live streaming of court proceedings or not. To start with, maybe you can have, constitutional disputes which are being fought in the High Courts and the Supreme Court. Live streaming of such constitutional disputes could be permitted. But I definitely am not in favor of large scale live streaming of court proceedings. It will definitely compromise privacy of many, many, many litigants.
Right, sir. Now, my last question on this is, sir, that we talk of transparency, and Supreme Court is already quite transparent. But they say that, it's like a lot of people do not know what actually happens in the trial courts. How should we look at it? Should we look at live streaming from the top, or should we look at live streaming from the bottom, that is from the trial courts?
In my view, we must have a consistent policy, from top to bottom. In my opinion, only constitutional disputes should be live streamed for people to understand the constitutional issues, constitutional disputes, arguments by both the sides, observations of judges. But apart from constitutional disputes, in my view, from top to bottom, live streaming of court proceedings should not take place. In any event, even if they were to take place, the choice must be given to each litigant whether he wants his case to be live streamed or not.
Right, sir. Right. I think you have put out things very clearly for each one of us to understand. Thank you so much for your time.